Hi everyone, welcome to the Text Messaging in Teaching workshop, where we will explore together tips and techniques for incorporating text messaging into teaching. My name is Jason Rohde, and I'll be your facilitator for this workshop. I've been a casual texting user for years, as long as I've owned a cell phone, but up until recently only sent occasional texts to friends and family. It was in 2010 when I became intrigued at the possibilities of using texting to better reach my online and blended students, and I began to explore free tools and approaches to text course-related news and announcements to my students. The response I received back from my students was overwhelmingly very positive, and I've since continued the practice of incorporating text messaging in my online teaching, even to this day. During this workshop, I look forward to sharing with you my experiences having incorporated text messaging into my own teaching, as we explore together the possibilities for making use of text messaging in your teaching. It is my hope that through this workshop, you will become as excited about the potential for use of texting in teaching as I am. I pay close attention to the help forum in our Moodle workshop environment, and I make every effort to respond within 24 hours. However, if you need to get in touch with me more quickly than that, you can also email me at jrohde@niu.edu, or you can call or text me at 815-209-9783. My contact information can also be found in my Moodle profile. Simply click on my name anywhere you see it linked in the course room, the discussion forums, participant list, etc., and it will take you to my profile page with all of this information. I'd like to begin this presentation with a brief introduction to some of the key concepts and skills we will be exploring in this workshop. The commonly referred to mobile communication technology, text messaging, is technically SMS. Short Message Service, or SMS, commonly referred to as text messaging, is among one of the most widely available forms of electronic communication today, available for use by any mobile phone user. Throughout this presentation, as well as the course, we'll often use the terms texting, text messaging, and SMS interchangeably. Texting generally consists of brief messages consisting of 160 characters or less among mobile phones or devices over a network. Texting was originally only available on mobile phones, but the development of mobile messaging apps make it possible today for users to send and receive texts on virtually any mobile device that is connected to a wireless network. Texting has expanded beyond just the sending of messages containing text. Other types of mobile messages, containing either image, sound, or video content, also are becoming increasingly popular. These media messages, known as MMS, which stands for Multimedia Messaging Service, can be sent and received from an increasingly expanding number of mobile devices. To provide some context for why educators today should be aware of the potential for use of text messaging in teaching, let's look at just a few facts to help illustrate the widespread adoption of this form of communication among students today. The potential facts and figures come from these study reports listed here. Links to these sources are among the resources provided in our Moodle course for this workshop. 75% of 12 to 17-year-olds own cell phones. %50 of teens send 50 or more text messages a day. 30% send more than 100 texts a day. 99.8% of college students own one or more cell phones. %53 of phone-owning students have smartphones. 97% of students use text messaging as their main form of communication. %31 of U.S. adults prefer to be reached by text message. Almost all students use email, text messaging, and Facebook as communication tools. So why text messaging for education? Well, for starters, it's among one of the most widely available forms of electronic communication today, available for use by any mobile phone user. The ubiquity of mobile phones is certainly a catalyst for the adoption of SMS, with 99.8% of college students reportedly owning a mobile phone. Since even the most basic phones today have texting capabilities, it's a form of communication technology that nearly all students have personal access to and use daily. Given the widespread use among students already, as well as the preference that students have overwhelmingly expressed to communicate in this fashion, texting provides some great opportunities for educators today. We carry our phones with us more often than any other technology. Think about your own use of a mobile phone. When was the last time you went somewhere without your phone? There are indeed some fantastic opportunities to reach students on a communication that they're already using and prefer, rather than asking students to use some other communication technology just for education purposes. The immediate notification of the arrival of a message makes texting unique from other communication tools, as it can be utilized in either a synchronous or asynchronous manner. I could send you a text message, and while your phone would buzz, ding, or somehow notify you immediately when the message arrives, you can still choose to wait to see that message when it fits your schedule. The user is provided the option of either to view and respond to a received message immediately or to wait. Sending a text message to someone is a less intrusive communication method than, say, calling on the phone or even sending an email, as the recipient can quickly view a received message when in a meeting or perhaps is otherwise unable to talk or maybe view an email. And given the fact that the intended recipient generally will have their mobile phone with them, they are much more likely to receive the message sent in a more timely manner. What are some of the uses for texting in education? There certainly are many, and throughout the workshop we'll explore many possibilities. But a few common examples include the instructor broadcasting course news and reminders to students via text message. There are third-party tools available that some institutions have licensed for automating this type of broadcast of messages to students. Yet there are many free tools and approaches that individual instructors can choose to make use of as well. As the instructor, you may choose to provide students with the opportunity to text you if needed, with a quick question or perhaps in case of emergency. There are also many different ways that instructors have made use of texting to engage students with course-related activities, either in class or outside of class. And the list could go on and on. During this workshop, together we'll continue to add to this list with the goal of you then selecting a use case and developing a plan for how you could personalize a use of texting for your own teaching. In considering texting in teaching, it is important to first identify the purpose for texting in an educational context. When developing a plan for how to leverage texting, one must take into account how to protect the privacy of both the student and instructor. As some users do feel the need to immediately view and respond to text immediately, decide when it's appropriate to send a text message. For example, if a user keeps their mobile phone by their bed, sending a text message during off hours might wake up that individual. Texting is unlike any other long forms of written communication that you may be accustomed to, in that oftentimes, given the constraint of the screen size and the allowable character limits for messages, users resort to use abbreviations in their messages, such as those that I've included in the slides of this presentation. Determine what is appropriate and acceptable language to be used in messages that you send and receive, and communicate those expectations to students. Now that you know some of the key concepts and skills covered in this workshop, let's turn our attention to the workshop structure, requirements, grading, and so on. Our workshops have two options. The non-graded option is for those who don't want or need a certificate of completion. With this option, you can participate as much or as little as your professional needs and personal desires dictate. The graded option, which leads to a certificate of completion, has specific learning objectives and supporting graded activities that must be completed satisfactorily. You do not have to notify us which option you choose. If you complete the graded activities satisfactorily, you will be able to download your certificate. Please note that you must complete the graded activities during the scheduled workshop time in order to get a certificate, if you choose to do so. You will not be able to do this after the workshop has ended. In this workshop, you will experience the use of text messaging within an online course. You will also identify and discuss opportunities for incorporating text messaging in your courses. Our workshop culminates with you developing your plan for use of text messaging in your teaching. And don't worry, you don't have to know text speak to participate in the workshop. After becoming acquainted with one another in the introduction discussion activity, the workshop will kick off with a live workshop presentation, where I will share in greater detail my experience incorporating texting in my teaching, as well as facilitate a live discussion introducing the concepts that we'll then explore in greater depth throughout the workshop. To help provide you with an opportunity to experience one example for how one might implement texting into a course, during the workshop, I will be modeling the incorporation of text messaging for the purpose of providing course-related reminders and announcements in an online learning environment. I've set up a workshop texting group and asked that you opt in to our texting group so that you'll then receive workshop-related text messages from me. More instructions are provided in Moodle, and I'll demonstrate my use of our texting group during our live workshop presentation. You also can feel free to text me at my number I've previously provided to experience what it's like to send and receive texts individually to an instructor. There will be several different discussions for you to engage with the rest of the workshop participants on the concepts covered in preparation for developing your own text messaging plan. I've also included a variety of additional resources that you can choose to review to further your knowledge and dig deeper into the use of texting in teaching. If you are not taking the workshop for a certificate, you can choose to participate in as few or as many activities as you need to satisfy your personal and professional goals. If you are taking the workshop for a certificate, you will need to develop and share your text messaging plan for feedback. Those who do complete their texting plan will have the option, if desired, to select from free tools shared during the workshop and set up a prototype of their proposed implementation and possibly try the implementation with me and any other workshop participants who may be interested. The graded assignment, the text messaging plan, should be developed after participating in the discussions and other activities of the workshop. The plan template, a sample plan, and rubric for assessment of the plan is provided in Moodle within the Certificate of Completion block. Once you have completed your graded assignment, I will post grades within 1 week, and at that time you will be able to download your Certificate of Completion. Each block of the workshop lists dates for participating in each of the activities. Of course, you can always start activities early. For example, even though introductions go through the first weekend, many people opt to begin the workshop content and activities while participating in the Introductions Forum. The dates are merely there to provide you with recommendations for how to pace your progress so that you're able to complete all activities by the conclusion of the workshop. Thank you for your time and attention during this presentation. Your next step should be to post to the Introductions Discussion Forum. I'm looking forward to journeying with you during this workshop and to meeting you in the Introductions Discussion Forum.